Okay, welcome back. In this tutorial, I'm going to go ahead and, I know I said I wouldn't, but I'm going to go ahead and cover the front, back, and the sides and how those are going to interface. If you think you've got a pretty good handle on it, you can go ahead and skip this video. If you need it, that's great. It's here for you. If you skip it, you can always come back as well. So once my parts come back on my screen, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take a look at this interface now down here. So if I were to take these and kind of assume that constraint was there, I see that I've got solid on both. So I've got a notch one or the other. I don't know that it really matters which one we go ahead and notch. So we can go ahead and do that to the front here. And so the way we do that is we've got a pattern. So when I double click it, it's going to bring me into the component pattern edit menu again. So that's why I maximize these over here to see element 1 front, and then it highlights, and then the one in back you can see by the view cube highlights also. So let's go ahead and double click this one, and we'll throw a sketch on our part. And now we should, this is the nice thing about naming that parameter, be able to call this notch, tab, notch, tab, and then our dimension can also be equal to notch. And now if we ever get a change we need to make or our material thickness changes, this notch here is 1/8 of an inch deep because that matches our material thickness here. So if we got thicker material, we could come in and change all of that. Quantities might have to change of patterns, but not the end of the world. So we'll go ahead and do a cut through all there, and then go ahead and rectangularly pattern that. And we're not going to get a whole lot of quantity out of it, which is fine. So let's go with, notch times 2. And we could probably get 3 out of that. Yep. And so there's that. And now the nice thing is, since I used the same part front and back, the back part here is already done. So moving on to our side piece now, we see that if we drag this down, we need to make the notch at the bottom because I've got solid here. So I can go into this part, sketch, and then pretty much do the same thing. Actually, spelling, capitalization. Locate. Is 0. And why did I put that 0 dimension in there? It makes the model a little more flexible because I can always change this number. But if I drew my square right off of the corner, I'd have to go in and delete that constraint. So just kind of a way to make it a little more flexible. So we can go ahead and make that a cut through all. And then we can pattern that. Extrusion. As you go along, your parts are going to get more complicated. So just kind of something to bear in mind. We'll flip that direction. We'll make this 3. We'll make this notch times 2. And we need to make that 4 because we can see that we've got solid right here and I need a cut right here. So now that's good. And since the left and the right are the same, I can mirror that pattern and it automatically gets my extrusion about my XY plane and return. Now if I did this correctly, when I drag this down, everything should line up. And what I'm going to do to prove that out is I'm going to take this flush and I'm going to unsuppress it. And now to really prove that out, I'm going to go to Inspect, Analyze Interference, pick everything, and hit OK. That's what you want to see. No interference detected. Perfect. So the next step, excuse me, is going to be to put the back on. So I'm going to go ahead and do a video for the back. It's going to be very similar to the front here or the right and the left. Watch that if you'd like. Know it's there as your resource. If you don't, go ahead and skip it and keep working. Thanks, and we'll see you in the next.